gonna be here, but he said he had to, so he had previous commitment. I said, well, we'll slide you up. No, you can just do them in order. That's what they do. You know, what we have. You're gonna have to wait.
I just shut myself off. We're going to go ahead and start our meeting. We will start off with our roll call.
Mark Brenner,
Out here.
Steve Dellinger. Here. Kenny Gray. Gail Cole.
Yep.
Jason Roberts. Terry Natney, Terry. Helen Dunn.
Here.
Stephanie Adams.
Here.
Amber Ford.
Okay. Okay, next is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. I didn't notice any changes that needed. Did anybody else? Okay, may I have a motion
So moved.
to open? Okay. A second?
Second.
And Steve, all those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay. Oops. Okay, starting off, we have case 2289 for a commission-approved use requested by a DJ Weimer from Knightstown for a grass runway for private use. Tom, do you want to share any comments that you have on this before we ask Mr. Weimer, are you here? Okay. Okay. Mr. Reimer, would you like to come up? You have 10 minutes to share with us what you're wanting to do.
Have you all had an opportunity to look through?
And is that box on?
Is it on?
A little bit closer towards your body. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to make sure everybody can hear.
My notes here. So anyway, I want to thank you all for the opportunity to present this project and take it into consideration. My name's DJ Weimer. I'm asking the Planning Commission to approve a grass runway. This would be there shown in the blue, just northwest of Knightstown. That's a farm my father's owned since the 80s. I grew up here in Henry County. I've always looked up to the sky and wanted to be a pilot. My grandfather, he was a pilot and had a grass strip on the farm, and that was all gone by the time I came around. But I guess I held that in my mind as something that was pretty neat, and I wanted to do that. So I got my pilot's license in 2010 when I was at Purdue. Continued flying, renting airplanes. I purchased an airplane in 2021. I keep it currently in Anderson. It's a small single engine Cherokee 6. Pretty much what you're probably used to seeing. I wanted to bring it to Knightstown and fly out. That's about a mile away from my house, a mile and a half from my house. So it'd be a convenient place. It's if you look at the terrain, it's very flat. It's well suited. I went through the process, as you can see, of getting it approved by the FAA. They did an airspace study and an analysis, and they had no objection to putting a grass strip in that spot. So I just want to tie in a little bit. Most people think the Wright brothers came from Ohio and North Carolina tries to claim them, but actually Wilbur Wright was born here in Henry County, not terribly far from where I want to put a grass strip 100 years later. I mean, it's 20 miles away, but it's still the same county. So 150 years ago, a young man looked up in the sky in Henry County, dreamed of flying, and 100 years later, I did the same thing. It's still the same dream, and I'm just trying to execute that. I just want to reiterate that this is a private use grass runway, be operating single engine piston airplane out of there. I think a lot of the concerns that I've heard, or the few concerns that I've heard, are related mostly to noise. I know here in the analysis, Tom talks a bit about the noise produced. I just wanted to put a little bit of that in context. So my airplane produces 80.5 decibels. According to my search, a zero-turn lawnmower produces 90 to 100 decibels. String trimmer is 95 to 105 decibels. Chainsaws 100 to 120. Large agricultural tractors 95 to 105. A combine is 90 to 105, and my Cherokee is 80. So I don't believe that the noise will, for the usage that I'll be doing there, will be a concern that would be anything more than the tractors that currently farm that. I would think if anybody has concern with the noise, it'll be mostly the lawnmower I use to mow it. So as you know, I still want to keep it agricultural. We're just talking about a grass strip that's 2,600 feet long and 120 feet wide, which calculates out to 7 acres roughly. As far the other concern maybe noted was some safety. I've never had an accident, don't tend to have an accident. Aviation is highly regulated. In order to fly an airplane, you have to have a pilot's license. That's quite a process to go through. Every day you fly, you do a walk around, you inspect that airplane, make sure there's no mechanical failures. Because safety, there's nobody more concerned about safety than the person flying the airplane, and I just don't want that to be a problem. I spoke to a few of the neighbors. It's typically how it goes. The ones that support you quietly. I spoke with one of the neighbors to the south this morning, and she was absolutely favorable to the project and just was alerting me that there's trees there, and I know that. So in closing, I just, I'm just wanting to use this land for a runway. There's, I think, currently 120 runways in Indiana, several in Henry County. There used to be one, the Wilcox runway was was less than a mile from this one. He moved to Arizona, and abandoned, or, decommissioned that one. So, I just respectfully,
Interrupt you, TJ, for a second, because we were given documents to show up on the screen. I want to make sure I'm keeping up with you.
Yeah.
That's why I called Tom over.
We don't have the runway we mentioned, but we do have one, another one for.
yeah,
Is that number
This place, another one.
this small?
Yeah.
Okay. And again, I
yeah,
apologize
go
for
ahead.
interrupting. I'm just trying to keep up with your presentation.
Yeah, let me flip to the,
Fondly, we fondly refer to that, hardly been reliable.
okay, okay.
Small airport down.
Yeah, that's Carthage, right?
Yeah. Yes.
That would roughly be maybe 2 miles straight south of my proposed runway, probably 3 miles.
That's the closest.
That would be the closest one. Pilots. It's like a natural progression. You get your pilot's license, then you dream of your runway. So that's, it's a fairly common thing. I think one of the other concerns people were concerned about was location of housing near the airstrip. If you would have, Bobby, flipped to the next image. This
Which
is
one is that?
Anderson.
That one?
That one's perfect. So that's Pope Field and Greenfield. 50 years ago, that was all farmland. You can see the subdivisions came to the airstrip. As far as I know, there's no conflict. I think some of the people that live in the subdivision enjoy watching the airplanes take off and land there. We're trying to land within an inch of the center line. So the 120 feet is pretty wide runway. And then, I'm going to site that in the middle of that field. So, or the parcel. There's lots of room and separation from houses. And that is a private strip that's just west of Greenfield. Greenfield Central High School is to the north, and there's a private Catholic school directly to the west, I think, southwest, St. Michael's. So there's a situation where you have a grass strip with 2 different schools and development all around it. And
Those are hard to see, but they're three right there around the Saltbush.
yeah, and so that would be a similar topography to where mine is, with the agricultural density development around it. That's essentially what it'll look like on an aerial view for mine. So I'm really not asking for anything outside of the scope of an acceptable use for agricultural land. I plan to maintain it as grass, have a nice smooth grass strip. And if things change, it'll return to cropland. But I'm happy to entertain any questions that you might have about it.
I think we'll wait till after.
Okay,
everybody.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Okay, at this time, the next 20 minutes is available for anyone that would like to speak in favor of this project. Mhm, 20 minutes. Okay, you sure? No? Okay. But then we'll move on and we'll have an additional 20 minutes, 3 minutes What? Oh, we're going 10 now. Okay, excuse me. Okay, okay. Is there anybody that would like to speak on behalf that they are not in favor of this project? Would you please come up to the podium? And can you state your name?
Yes, my name is Denise Harris,
Yeah.
and I live on 975 West. And I was wondering, he said, I'd heard him say that the plane is permanently stored at Anderson, or will it be stored out there at the grass strip?
They can ask.
Oh, okay, I've never done this
They'll
before.
answer them all later.
Okay.
Got all the questions and then we'll.
Okay, so, yeah, we was wondering, if the airplane was going to be there at all times, if there was going to be a building built for the airplane storage for any type, I'm just asking these questions, for all of us, I think. If there's going to be any chemicals, fuel, or anything like that stored there. Is there going to be any drones, ultralights, hot air balloons, or helicopters coming in there? And I think I heard him say about it. Is there going to be any lights for the runway? I know it's grass. Will it interfere with our television signal? And he said it was for personal or business use. I didn't know whether he was gonna do agricultural spraying or anything like that. Will this affect our property value? And is it still going to be zoned agricultural or, I know this is future plans, but what is he gonna do with the rest of the land? Or are we just talking about the strip today? About the strip. Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure. And what type of hours would he be? I mean, I know it's his personal plane. He would be coming and going and everything. But just for our sake and sanity, we live right there where it's going to come in. He lives down and around the corner. And we want to keep it country. That's why we live there. We know probably in the next 10, 20 years, all kinds of stuff is going to start booming out there. Maybe even sooner than that. But we love the country. We like our silence, except us screaming and yelling every once in a while at each other, the dogs and cats. My grandfather was Wilburn Poor. He lived out beside the Newcastle Airport. And I can remember the airplanes buzzing over and that kind of stuff, because that's not what we want. We already have enough ambulance helicopters going. And I know there's a lot of other planes, but I think that is just about everything, and that's also too, if there's any kind of accident or something like that, do we have the type of manpower, the fire departments and stuff? My dad was a volunteer fireman, so that's why I'm asking about that stuff. But I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Anyone else?
Yes. Yes.
Your name?
My name is Lisa Beaver. Yes, and I am writing to formally express my strong opposition to the development of a private grass strip directly in front of my home. I have lived in the rural Henry County for a long time, specifically choosing this area for its peace, quiet, and low-stress environment. The introduction of a private airstrip in this location would fundamentally change the character and negatively impact my home, my health, and the surrounding community. The proposed airstrip is incompatible with agricultural zoning, would create an ongoing nuisance, and would negatively impact the health, safety, and quality of life of the nearby residents. It also introduces unnecessary environmental and safety risks, especially given the availability of the existing nearby airfields. For this reason, I respectfully request that the proposal be denied.
Anyone else? Okay. And then, Mr. Weimer, would you like to come back up? We've got a lot of questions. Steve, do you have any questions you want to start off with? Okay.
Yeah, I got some questions. Number one, what are you using for airport now?
Anderson.
What?
Anderson Municipal Airport.
Pardon?
Anderson,
Anderson?
that's where I keep it.
What's wrong with Newcastle?
They didn't have any hangars. There's nothing wrong with the airport. You have to keep it somewhere.
You know, this could be a very, very touchy situation, you know, airport. We look at safety. I think safety would be the number one thing. If you're in an area where there was no houses or around it, it might be a lot different, you know, something similar to what Roberts has got out there, where he's got his own airport, but it's by his business and there's no houses around it. But from what I'm reading here, there is other residents, and I could understand if I was one of them and there was going to be an airport, knowing that the safety part of it, along with the noise, and something you have to have complete control of on people moving in and out as far as flying an airplane. What kind of safety procedures do you have in effect?
Well, the entire process is a safety procedure. I don't mean to be crass with that, but the number one priority is to do this safely. So, your goal to prevent any accident is prevention. You do pre-flight inspections, you maintain the equipment very well. That a lot of that's regulated, most of that is regulated by the FAA. It's a Piper Cherokee, it's a certified aircraft. I have to do annual inspections. So the mechanics of the airplane are up to date. It's got a fairly new engine in it, modern avionics package. I use all the safety protocols that I can to make sure it's as safe as possible. What you see up there is a typical traffic pattern. The triangle or the angle on the west is your entry procedure to a traffic pattern. So the wind mostly in the summer is coming from the south, southwest. So I would be landing from the north. So that would be considered like a right traffic pattern. You would enter coming from the west, you would fly over Hickerson's farm there, and then turn on your base leg just south of the interstate, and then final would bring you right into the strip. So, from my perspective, I would not be flying over any houses. I believe there would be at least 300 feet from those houses to the edge of my runway. And like I said, the paved runways have a center stripe, and the goal every time is to land the nose wheel on the center stripe. So to me, there's no concern with hitting those houses. That would be a bad day, and that's just not
Okay,
what I want. I hope that answers your question.
Am I reading this script wrong? Is that the airstrip, is that going towards 70?
So this is the airstrip right here,
Okay.
and then the blue is parcel. So the green is the airstrip. And the yellow is your traffic pattern. So I'm landing, coming from the west, you fly a traffic pattern. And this is your set points, what you do each point in the traffic. At each point in the traffic pattern, so you could fly in here. This is called your downwind leg. You assume the wind's coming from this direction. You fly downwind and you're starting your descent or you're descending. You turn base leg. This is the base leg here. Right here, you're 500 feet above the ground, and then you're doing your final approach, and then hopefully you touch down here. But my aircraft can land in 700 feet, so they have a almost quadruple safety factor on that strip.
How many planes are you talking about?
Just one.
Just one plane?
I got a couple questions. Verify, this is a day use only?
A day, well, yeah,
You don't have lights?
there's no,
Okay,
not runway lights or anything like that.
yeah,
not
so
really
the
mine.
proposal is just for day use only.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
time.
a lot of times people will put solar powered marking lights. If you're landing at,
Sure.
you know,
In the FAA's analysis of the airport area, which you have, it describes provisions for the operation of its airport. And it is day in visual conditions, which means you can't fly in the clouds. Weather has to be good for him to be able to operate the airplane.
right, you can't land at night without lights.
Right.
Do you have any other questions
Yeah.
before I start?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went through the review. FAA has review and approval of the design, I guess, and certain things that you have to meet as far as their standards.
Correct.
I noticed a few sentences that they use the word should, and I think it should be shall. For example, I think they said something about a windsock should.
Oh, no,
No.
yeah, you'll have to.
It should be shall. As far as this board's concerned, because that's of, I don't know, I just think to approve it, it needs to be, you shall do what FAA says, not should. I don't know why they would write it that way, but I would think you would want them to, you're going to want to comply anyway, but I was kind of curious about that. That they use the word should.
My-
and
my-
It means two different things to
Yeah,
me.
So there'd be no way for me to know for sure what the wind conditions are on that runway without me having
Well, you got to have it.
windsock, so I will put one.
But there are a few
somewhere
other
out the middle of
things.
the field. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last.
There are a few other things that they bullet and said that's the way you need to do things. And that was the only thing I had is I would like to say, as far as approval of this board would be, it shall be done, not it should be.
Okay, I'd like to just go over the questions that were asked. And you already talked about the day use. And will you have a hangar for the plane?
I would like to build a hangar, but my first step would be make sure we can have the
Yeah.
runway
Okay,
before we go through that process. A hangar would be approximately 60 by 60 pole barn with a door, bifold door.
okay. And will you be storing chemicals if you get a hangar? I can't
Not be
imagine.
storing any chemicals.
Okay. Will you be, I can't imagine because you're wanting to use it for your plane, but the drones, the ultralight helicopters,
I don't have any of those.
okay. We answered that, and I can't imagine, but could it interfere with their TV signals?
I-
Can't
I'm not
imagine.
qualified to answer that question.
Yeah, I was going to say. And will you be doing any agricultural sprays, or this is more of a business? Yeah,
It's just a private person hauler.
yeah,
I don't have any spray equipment. Those are really different type of airplanes.
okay. And do you have, she wanted to know if you had certain hours. I'm guessing if it's
Well,
daytime,
be
it's,
day, legally, if you're doing day operations, that's has to be in 30 minutes of civil
Yeah,
twilight and civil sunset.
okay. And then I didn't see anything in the paperwork, but, should there be an accident, I don't know if there's anything that can be done. Yeah,
No, I think that's a there's airplanes that fly over. Actually, Indianapolis Center is one of the busiest air traffic control centers in the country because we are the crossroads of America. There's a lot of airplanes above us. So I don't think there's any more risk than
okay,
currently is here.
okay. I was going over the FAA report and it said there are 2 known structures, antennas in the vicinity, and that the climb and descent. So are you,
Yes, so there's one down here
okay,
and there's one here.
okay,
So that's why I would fly right traffic. I fly around this way. And then if the wind was coming out of the north, you'd fly left traffic. So, no, I would fly right traffic. Maybe coming around this way. So you're always, when you're landing to the north, you're staying away from the antennas. So that's my
okay.
point.
Marcia,
Mhm.
can I clarify one of the safety questions? I believe his airplane would be equipped with what they call an emergency locator transmitter.
Yes.
And so that goes off, he can turn it on manually.
Okay,
If he runs off the runway or something like that and would, break it and get stuck in the airplane. Or if it was a little bit higher impact,
okay,
those go off automatically,
okay.
everything.
And you will have a wind cone, okay? And then, use extreme caution for road power lines and trees. You can address that, I'm assuming?
I will do all the procedures, calculations to make sure
You
I
clear,
am above
Yeah.
all power lines and trees.
okay. Okay, I think that's all the questions I have, and you have another one?
Yes. Do you expect other planes to use it? Or is this just at your permission, or how would that work?
So as a private airport,
Mhm.
they have to have owner permission to use it. I don't anticipate having big fly-in things, but I have friends with airplanes and
Sure.
I'm sure they will land. But it's very, right now, the reason I want to do this is because Anderson's far enough away. I don't fly as much as I want to. So by putting it closer, I'll be able to fly, hopefully, a little bit more. So I do intend to use it.
Any other questions? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, ask your question. I
Can't hear it.
I think the
Yeah.
fire department would handle all of that and the EMTs.
Exactly.
I thought you,
Well, I'm concerned about the overall hazmat, fuel, anything that might be needed to operate the airplane, or airplanes coming into the
He's just worried about things out there by our house, because how it looks, you're gonna be coming in and then turning almost on top of our houses.
Along,
we live.
along with, 1, 2, 3 other home sites.
The-
If I'm correct, right, where is our house
I'm not exactly sure which house that you're in, but you know, this is 1/2 mile. And I think, are you in one of these houses here on 975? Yep. Well, they're all approximately the same distance from the edge of the runway. So I will, when I fly by your house, I will be flying over the runway. So when I turn, be turning out here, and flying the downwind leg, probably at least 500 feet behind your house. And I'll also be 1,000 feet high at that point.
Why did you pick that? When you have lots of.
It's actually the flattest,
I was talking like.
most level,
I think we.
clearest obstructions.
That the yellow lines there are what he is required to fly as far as distances from everything. So the altitude is prescribed in regulations, as are where his traffic pattern is. So that would, the yellow lines are the path his airplane would be on as he flew that area. And they prescribe that. That's why normally you fly a left-hand pattern. Isn't that correct?
Correct.
But they made him put it on the right because of there's more houses over east of the airport area and because of the interstate and the tower up there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion before we? Okay, Sean, are you ready to ask the three questions?
This is a commission approved use vote, so we have to go through all 3 questions. They're answered in the affirmative by the majority that the commission approved use approved. The first question is, the proposed commissioner approved use is to be located in the zoning district where such use can be permitted. Mark Director,
Yes.
Steve Dellinger,
Yes.
Dale Cole,
No.
Sheldon Dine,
Yes.
Stephanie App.
Yes.
Question 2, the requirements set forth in the zoning district and this section for such commission approved use will be met. Marcia Gratner,
Yes.
Steve Dellinger,
Yes.
Dale Cole,
No.
Sheldon Dine,
Yes.
Stephanie App.
Yes.
Question 3, the proposed uses are consistent with the spirit, purpose, and intent of these regulations, will not substantially and permanently injure the appropriate use of the neighboring property, and will serve the public convenience and welfare. Marcia Gratner,
Yes.
Steve Dellinger,
No.
Dale Cole,
No.
Sheldon Dine,
Yes.
Stephanie App.
Yes.
Approved use is met and approved.
As per Sheldon's request, we'd like to make sure that you put up a windsock as directed by or suggested by the FAA.
Okay, next on the agenda is old business. I'm sorry?
You're right.
Okay. Okay, then, next on the agenda is new business. We have a presentation of resolution for the Louisville Redevelopment Commission. Is there anyone here from Louisville that would like to come up and just give us a brief summary? Tom, do you have anything you need to share?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
We can present. Review the all what's sent there.
Mhm.
Plan. They certified that down there, their resolution from the top.
Mhm.
Now they are required to present that to us, all of the technical standards of our fall county. So you do that. I have a question.
I'm Justin Thompson, President of the Louisville Redevelopment Commission.
Yes,
So,
okay.
no, you're good.
No, I mean, sorry.
Oh. So basically, just here, as Tom had mentioned, that we have the economic development plan that the Louisville Redevelopment Commission adopted, and then the Louisville Town Council adopted
Mhm.
at our May meeting. Just really here for you all if you have any questions. As you could see within the document itself, it's really about housing. Louisville, we doesn't have a whole lot of growth other than housing development. So that's what we really focus on in our economic development plan. And then also kind of the activation of that US 40 corridor where we sit on. So,
Very impressive.
thank you. Yeah.
Did a wonderful job on this. Does anybody have any questions at all? Comments?
Keep up a good work.
Appreciate it.
Okay, then, Sean, do you have anything that we need to do before we go ahead and read?
I can read the proposed order, approving this. Whereas the Henry County Plan Commission, hereinafter the Plan Commission, is the body charged with the duty of developing a general plan of development for Henry County, state of Indiana, including but not limited to the town of Louisville, state of Indiana, hereinafter the town. Whereas the Louisville Redevelopment Commission, hereinafter the commission, pursuant to Indiana Code 36-7-14, as amended hereinafter the act, has adopted the economic development plan, and on May 19, 2026, approved and adopted resolution number 051926-A, the declaratory resolution. After approving a declaratory resolution plan for Louisville economic development area in the area. Whereas the commission has submitted the declaratory resolution and the plan to the Plan Commission for approval pursuant to provisions of section 16 of the act. And whereas the Plan Commission has reviewed the declaratory resolution and the plan and determined that the declaratory resolution and plan form the plan of development for the town, most recently approved comprehensive plan for the town, now desires to approve the amending declaratory resolution and plan. Now therefore is ordered by the Henry County Plan Commission as follows. Pursuant to section 16 of the act, the Plan Commission hereby finds terms of declaratory resolution and the plan conform in all respects to the plan development for the town. Two, that the declaratory resolution and plan are hereby approved. This resolution hereby constitutes the written order of the Plan Commission approving the declaratory resolution and the plan pursuant to section 16 of the act. Three, the Secretary of the Plan Commission is hereby directed to file a copy of the declaratory resolution, including the plan with minutes. So in the affirmative, that's what we're voting for, is for ratifying this.
And you'll be doing a roll call?
Marcia Bradner,
Yes.
Steve Dellinger,
Yes.
Bill Hall,
Yes.
Sheldon Dunning,
Yes.
Stephanie F.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Anything else before Dale gets to?
Motion adjourned.
Yes. Oh, we didn't have to say that.
Hey, Steve, good to see you, son.
Yes, I think.
You getting okay?